You're tuned in to Ask the Master Auto Technician. Car questions? Get answers right now. Call 850-763-0555.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.
All right, welcome back to our second edition of our Thursday morning show. I got Brian Armstrong calling all the way from Maryland. Are you up in Maryland? Because you've been sending me pictures of race cars. Where you at?
Well, yes, I'm in Maryland. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Earlier this week, I was in West Virginia.
Oh.
Country roads take me home.
Yes, I bet. Almost heaven.
Almost heaven for sure. I miss John Denver, by the way.
Yeah.
But I had a chance to drive the Toyota Sienna race van, believe it or not, James.
Yeah, that's what I said. Wow, what is that?
Yeah, when we think of the Toyota, when we think of any Toyota, you hardly think of racing, with the exception of the Camrys that have done so well in the NASCAR series.
Right.
But, you know, a minivan, give me a break. So when I got the call from Toyota that says, hey, Brian, I know it's short notice, but we want you to come out to West Virginia. It's about a 2-hour drive from my home in Maryland. And we want you to drive a Toyota Sienna SE Plus that we're going to have running in Brock Yates' One Lap of America. And Brock Yates is a former automotive journalist with Car and Driver. He was editor-in-chief of Car and Driver magazine. And he's the force behind the now infamous Cannonball Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Run. If you remember, the Cannonball was, you know, when it first came out, all the safety pundits were like, oh, no, people are going to die, and you're going to run through communities and kill children and all this kind of stuff. It also served as the impetus for producers to make the movie Cannonball Run and Smokey and the Bandit. You know, Burt Reynolds was chasing all the Cannonball guys.
Yes.
So it's a lot of history here. You know, the safety advocates finally caught up with the Cannonball Run, and it became One Lap of America, which was a series of timed rallies across the nation. A lot slower speeds, but still, you know, caused some trouble. So they said, hey, let's take One Lap of America to racetracks around America. So for $3,000, if you have some racetrack experience or driving school experience, you meet a set of criteria. You know, you have to have a helmet. It's nice to have a cage in your car, although I'm not sure if a cage is required. I think a cage is required. And you go from racetrack to racetrack in your region, and you compete against other drivers. There are hundreds of drivers who do this. There were about 70 drivers at Summit Point this past Tuesday. And here we are, James, in an off-the-shelf Toyota SE, which was modified only in the sense that it had 19-inch Pirelli tires and custom black laser wheels, multiple brake fluid because it has a high boiling point, and upgraded brake pads. And that's about it. I mean, we were on the track in this van, and it did exceptionally well. Now, if you go to Toyota.com, and you look at the advertising or their marketing slogan for the Toyota Sienna, they call it the Swagger Wagon. And what they're trying to do with this whole Sienna is to show people that, hey, just because you're in a minivan, you don't have to be a soccer mom or a soccer dad. You can have a bit of swagger in a minivan. And I think they've kind of pulled it off. I mean, you know, I'm not a huge fan of minivans, but after driving this, I have a newfound respect for what they're able to accomplish.
Wow.
Now, the actual race version of the Toyota Sienna is called, it's you know, they take the same Sienna SE Plus. They strip out the seats, they strip out all the switches and motors that you don't need. So you've got about, like, the audio system is gone, the HD system is gone. So you've got a little tiny battery to start the car to save weight. No big battery to run anything. They strip out 800 pounds. They add 10-inch wheels up front, larger wheels in the back, racing brakes, a special custom-built coilover suspension with custom-built perches and hatch to, you know, get the car really flat on the turns. And they put in a cage, and they put in a safety harness, and they put in a racing seat, and they put in a fire extinguisher, and they put in a cat-deleted exhaust system, 3-inch exhaust system. It sounds wicked. It goes like stink. And, you know, Toyota is committed. They have Rutledge Wood, who is the host of, I'm sorry, the name of the program slips on mine. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But
early in the morning, Brian, it's easy. I mean, I can barely get two brain cells work together this early in the morning. I'm just thankful.
That's pretty much what I have to do. He's the host of Top Gear, and the Sienna chief engineer, Andy Lund, will each take turns driving the car. They have a professional racer who also drives the car. His name is Craig Stanton. He's won a lot of different series around the nation. Really great guy. Had a chance to talk to Rutledge, who's a fellow journalist. Had a chance to talk to Andy, who's chief engineer, who's really passionate about this minivan. I mean, you can tell when somebody really has it in their blood. It's just nothing that you can ask that they can't answer about this particular project. And, of course, Craig Stanton, he's like, I've raced Porsches, I've raced Ferraris. I'm at home in this Toyota Sienna. It's a really fun program that Toyota's putting on. Ultimately, hopefully, it'll lead to more sales of the Sienna, and obviously that's the objective with any racing series, from NASCAR to Formula One. The objective is for these manufacturers to have this technology trickle down to their production cars and to get people excited about driving a Camry or an Avalon. They also have an Avalon and an FRS, the Scion FRS, racing in this series as well. So, I got out there. We were not in the race version. We were in the SC Plus, which was outfitted, to handle the track duty. And there were 6 of us in the minivan, just balling through the turns. I mean, you got to understand the Sienna Plus, SC Plus, is an 8-passenger vehicle that weighs 4,500 pounds.
That would be top heavy. Isn't that a top heavy van, you would think?
Well, that's what they were trying to show us. When you combine electronic stability control and vehicles, all these different electronic aids, it did quite well. I didn't have to switch it off. I got a chance to chirp the tires through a couple of turns. The guy who was our safety monitor from, who was riding in the car with us was like, "You guys are driving too fast." I'm like, "Dude, we do this all the time. We do this at tracks around the country. Relax. We've got this," because we get a chance to drive Vipers and Hellcats and Porsches and Ferraris on racetracks around the country and indeed around the world. So I certainly wasn't going to, bow down from an opportunity to see what a Sienna could do. And I got to tell you, it did quite well.
Wow. Now, so how did the brakes handle on this? You're driving pretty much a stock van. The only thing they did different, put in upgraded brake pads and some bigger rotors. That was about all they did different.
No rotors. Stock rotors.
Stock rotors. Okay.
Motul high boiling point brake fluid, and some slightly more aggressive brake pads.
So how did it handle versus, say, earlier model Siennas from 5 years ago? Any comparison?
Well, it's like a night and day comparison.
Okay.
We talked earlier a couple of shows ago about how Toyota has upgraded the RAV4 and the Prius. I mean, their architecture now is geared towards performance driving. For years, the Toyota and Lexus brand has been accused of being boring to drive, and I've been one of those ones out there waving the flag. I love these cars, but they put you to sleep. No more. I mean, the Sienna from 5 years ago and the Sienna for today, not even a valid or a fair comparison. It's like driving a Yugo and then driving, a Corolla for like driving a 1988 Yugo, whatever year it was they came out, and then driving a high-tech machine from today. Toyota is I mean, look at the products they have coming out in the future. The Lexus LC500, that's going to be a coveted automobile, much in the sense that, at the racetrack the other day, you had a Porsche 918, which is their hybrid supercar. They get it now.
Yeah, I guess they do.
They get it. I'm sure their experience with NASCAR and just listening to consumers that said, hey, can you put a little caffeine in this automobile for us? Can you put a little caffeine in this swagger wagon? Okay, if it has some swagger, just show us. And they've responded with a very impressive package. It's got the base 3.5-liter V6, dual overhead cam with variable valve timing with intelligence, 266 horsepower, 245 pound-feet of torque, 18 miles a gallon in the city, 25 highway.
Impressive.
a boatload of options on the Sienna. You know, just to stop
Right.
Sienna, you can go to Toyota.com and just view all the different features it has. When you look inside the vehicle, it almost looks like a spaceship. You know, it's got the wide telematic screen. It's got some really cool interior accoutrements that make it look almost like a spaceship. You can get it outfitted with white gauges. The shift lever sits up on the center, up on the upper dash, not down on the console, and not the old pull behind the steering wheel. It's actually a little stubby lever in the center console there on the upper part of the dash.
Like a Prius.
Like the Prius, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's a more substantial shift lever. Your HVAC controls are there. It's got a pretty blue electroluminescent display for HVAC. Above it, you've got the 7-inch, 8-inch. I'm not sure of the exact dimensions, but the navigation screen is just above it. Looks like a luxury car, like an Avalon inside. And
It sounds to me like the Sienna has joined the TRD, the Toyota Racing Division now. That's what it sounds like.
well, the Toyota Racing Development TRD is actually, you know, they actually had some TRD bits on the CXC. They had a radiator cap which improves which lowers the boiling point of the coolant. So they did have a couple of little extra things, mostly style items, like they had a TRD oil cap on the car as well. Now, this racetrack version of the Sienna, I know we're running out of time here.
Yes, I got to get another customer on here. I got Doug on here waiting for to talk to me.
Yeah, the racetrack version. Look, go to Toyota.com. It's the R-Tune and the SC Plus. Terrific race vehicles for the street. You know, a lot of fun. That's what it's really all about. It's having fun behind the wheel while you're driving a van. And congratulations to Toyota for making it done. I'd like to thank John Tucker, Dan Gardner, and Corey Prophet of Toyota for hooking this up for me. It's a great time, and just really a great experience. And congratulations for a vehicle well done.
And if they want to get up with you, they can go to, how can they get up with you, Brian?
AutoSense, you can write me at autosense@comcast.net. Be happy to answer any automotive questions that you have related to a new car, used car purchase, safety, anything like that. Be happy to check it out for you.
Sounds good. All right, Brian, you be good. I'm going to talk to you next week. I'm going to get Doug, get his question, go to break and answer it for him. Doug, thank you so much, Brian. But Doug, you got a 2003 4.3 GMC V6. What
2000.
is 2000? It's a 2000. What is your question about it, sir? And I'm going to go to a break, and then I'm going to look it up and get back and answer you. What is your question about it, sir?
I put 2 new cylinder heads on my engine and rebuilding everything else, got the manifold on it. The question is, I need the valve sequence on the cylinders. Like I've got 246 on one bank, 135 on the other bank.
Right.
2 valves on each cylinder.
Right.
I need to know if the first one is the intake, the second the exhaust. Then on the 4th cylinder, is it intake exhaust? Intake exhaust.
On a General Motors, you know, I don't know. I'll go to a break and I'll look, because right now it's too early in the morning. You give me a second. I'll be right back. This is James Morris along with Anna Marie Morris. We'll be right back. Going to be talking to Doug about his 2004.3 GMC and giving some answers about where the exhaust is and where the intake is on your valves. Is that what you want to know exactly, Doug?
Yeah, intake and exhaust on each cylinder.
The intake is normally on the end. If you're looking at the outside of the head, normally the outside valve is going to be the exhaust. The one towards the very front, that's going to be the exhaust. The one coming on the inside, on cylinder number 1, will be the intake.
The front one would be the intake?
No, the front one's going to, on number 1 cylinder, the front valve is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, the front valve is going to be the exhaust. Let me go to a break. I'm up against the clock. I'll be right back. Don't go away. Okay?
Bye-bye.
All right. Hang on there.
James Auto Center, we fix it right.